Hey everyone, welcome to the Band Gym. I am going to go ahead and take you through what I think is a very unique two-part series on how to use what I think is the most underrated, underappreciated band, the dynamic stabilizer. And why do I think this? Because I think people look at this as being used for one exercise, maybe two at the most, and that's completely false. This little device could be the best cardiovascular training band yet. And I want to take you through today 6 exercises and then give you progressions of each exercise to show you just how versatile this little band is. So this first part, we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about exercises that are going to engage your trunk and engage your hips. I think these first 3 exercises and progressions that come with it are the perfect 3 exercises you want to put together in a workout, the beginning of a workout, where you're engaging your trunk and your hips to get started. So if you have a group training group that you want to use the dynamic stabilizer for, or if you want to go ahead and do an aggressive running workout, but you want to make sure everything's on board, these first 3 exercises are what you want to go ahead and incorporate first into your workout before you go ahead and I take you through part 2, which is going to be a little bit more cardiovascular oriented. You ready to go ahead and hit it? All right, enjoy these 3 workouts, but more importantly, clue in on how quickly you can progress each workout, or excuse me, each exercise as you go through it. Well, you guys, we're on the floor today because we're going through dynamic stabilizer mountain climbers. This is probably one of my favorite exercises because it allows me to engage my trunk, train my trunk and my hips at the same time. The key is making sure you set up correctly. You want a wide base of support. So you want to get your feet wide so that the band stays tight. You want to position yourself in this holding pattern. Now, when you go ahead and do the movement, you want your knee coming towards your elbow. What that will do is that will keep the band tight and allow you to go ahead and do the mountain climber without the band migrating up and down your legs. So that's the basic dynamic stabilizer mountain climber. Let me take you through some variations of how you can do this now. 3 variations of how you can progress your dynamic stabilizer mountain climber. Obviously, you'd always start with the standard one that I just showed you, but now you can go ahead and load it up by taking a second band, placing it on the small of your back, wide base of support, and go ahead and do your dynamic stabilizer mountain climber with a loaded band. That's going to engage your trunk more aggressively. Another way to go ahead and do it, if you want to go ahead and advance it and be a little faster, is position yourself on an elevated surface. Now, by doing the mountain climber on this, it's going to take and make it a little bit easier for you to do than a standard position. However, I like to use this position to be more aggressive by doing what I call the switch drill, where I'm constantly trying to explode off of the movement. So there's 3 progressions and how you can go ahead, incorporate the dynamic stabilizer mountain climber into your exercises. Dynamic stabilizer rhythmical reaches. They're designed to go ahead and get your hips activated by not only creating a sagittal plane reach, but also by creating a frontal plane force from the dynamic stabilizer. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to start my reach by reaching high. So I'm going to kick my leg out and touch the wall and then bring it on back. Make sure that you go ahead and touch the floor with your back foot. Touch something with your hand, be it the wall or a stool or even the floor. So that's the dynamic rhythmical reach. Now what you want to do is put rhythm with it by being able to either repeat that movement multiple times, or you can go ahead and create an alternating version, which is really going to go ahead and be a great exercise for gait training. Now let me take you through some variations of how you can incorporate the rhythmical reach into your workout. If you're just learning the rhythmical reach, my suggestion is use a surface that you can touch so that you don't have to go down as low, and you can really focus on going ahead and kicking that leg back and reaching and making sure the dynamic stabilizer stays tight during the entire movement. Once you're good at that, now you can go ahead and go to the floor, which will be even more aggressive movement, or you can go ahead and load it with a weight by going ahead and bringing a dumbbell in and just reaching down and loading the movement. So there's 3 ways to go ahead and progress the rhythmical reach. And remember, you can also make it an alternating reach by going ahead and going back and forth from side to side if you want to. Rhythmical reaches, guys, great way to go ahead and train your hips if deadlifts aren't what you always want to do. Going, guys, today's exercise is the dynamic stabilizer squat. I want you to go ahead, step into the band, place it right above your kneecaps. That's where you're going to hold it. Now we want it there so that we teach our hips to engage during this exercise. Placing the band at your ankle won't allow that. So the simple variation of this is feet straight ahead, just go into a nice reach. The reach places you, creates a counterbalance for your hips so that you learn how to drive your hips back while keeping the band pressed out, knees over top of your ankles. So that's the dynamic stabilizer squat. Now let me take you through 3 variations of how you can go ahead and progress this exercise. First variation is a loaded dynamic stabilizer squat. I'm going to use a band. You could use weights. I'm going to bring it on up and I'm going to go ahead and load my squat. So I've got a red band. You go ahead and pick the band that works best for you, but you're essentially going to do a front squat with the dynamic stabilizer. Another variation is to go ahead and do what we call a ground up squat. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the squat, hold it, and then we're going to come on out of it. So we're going to go all the way down, hold it, but we're not going to let our trunk go, not let our hips go, and then we're going to come out of it. If you want to go ahead and progress that, you can go ahead, lower down, and come on out of it with a little bit of a hop, exploding up. Last variation is my favorite, is just a simple squat jump and making sure you always stick the landing. So a plyo squat jump. 3 variations of how you can go ahead and incorporate this exercise into your workout.